Welcome to the Be Ready Utah Prepcast. I'm Wade Matthews, the Be Ready Utah manager here at the Utah Division of Emergency Management. Joining me again are Jeff Johnson and Brian Stinson, also with the Division of Emergency Management and Be Ready Utah, emergency preparedness specialists. It's good to have you here. Thank you.
Glad to be here.
And again, we're going to continue. This is part 2 of this episode for our month's theme of food storage. We talked about long-term food storage last episode. So we want to make sure you go watch that if you missed it.
And nutrition. We talked about nutrition in that last one as well.
Thank you. And this time we're going to be talking a little bit more about short-term storage. So short-term, talking about the types of food that we store, but how much food should we store for? How long of a period should we be planning for to be relying on our food storage?
Well, it's recommended to have at least a 3-month supply. Now, that being said, as with all minimums, it's always better to have more. If you can work it up to a 6-month to a year, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And if you're starting out with less, that's okay too. You do the best you can with what you have with that goal in mind of the 3 months or more.
And everybody starts out with a day and then a week and then a month, and that's the idea is that you work your way up to that 3 month. It's not going to happen overnight.
Your disaster supply kit, your 3-day supply at least.
Start with the 3-day supply, and then you're going to work your way up.
Perfect. Now, you were talking about a little bit earlier about that 1 month, that when the cupboards are bare.
A bare bones minimum should be a 1-month supply, and this is what's in your pantry. It's what's in your refrigerator. If you've got less than 1 month food supply at home, you need to be at the grocery store right now.
And in a disaster, there's no guarantee that those grocery stores are going to be open, right?
Exactly.
That's why we have the food storage in the first place. So again, shoot for that 3 months or longer food storage. The long-term foods, we talked about the dehydrated, freeze-dried, dried foods, grains, rice, and so on last episodes. So we're going to get into the short-term now. And
that can be summed up really simple. Store what you eat.
Store what you eat. So in other words, when we're at the grocery store, what are we looking for food storage?
What we normally buy.
So canned goods like soups and chilies and canned meats, fruits and vegetables.
Your breakfast
cereals. Oatmeal, instant oatmeal.
Bisquick.
Right, okay. Some of the stuff that we have here. Where does this fit in, what we've been talking about? Short-term and long-term, kind of, right? Although this is a little bit shorter shelf life than the long-term. So this would fit in that short-term.
And you can live on those temporarily, but you're not going to live on those long-term.
Do you want to live on those? So again, that store what you eat, right? So store the stuff that you are used to eating all the time, that you're using in your regular meals. And that kind of keeps that simple. If I'm already buying this stuff regularly, so what does that mean? Buy a little bit more of it, right? Just buy an extra half a case.
You want to have storage of what you eat.
And put that in your food storage.
Yep.
And that goes along with those case slots. Case slots are a great thing to be able to bulk up on a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay, and then the second half of that phrase, store what you eat, is eat what you store. Meaning, so the question a lot of people have is how often should I rotate the food storage, right? Everybody wants to know that.
So as my wife buys these things, she'll buy a case of let's say, chicken noodle soup, and we already have 4 of them. She puts the newest one on the bottom and then stacks the other ones on top of that, so we're using the oldest first.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
Yeah, and then we're just rotating through that, and so we have 5 cases of soup, but we're always eating the oldest one first.
Okay, so that's your food storage, but it's also and same with us, our pantry. Our regular pantry, if we need some soup, we're going to go get the oldest soup first.
Yep. And
use that. So
I'll just say, if you're eating what you're storing, then you're not losing what you invested in those other things. I had a gentleman once talk to me about food storage, and this was long-term food storage. He said, I bought a few thousand pounds of wheat, and there was never an emergency, and it sat there for 40 years, and it just went bad, and it was a loss of money. I said, of course it was. Because you weren't using it. Yeah. You've got to use it. So, otherwise, again, it's just going to become a waste of money.
So store what you eat what you store. Yep. Get the foods you're used to eating every day. Consider your dietary needs, your allergies, your kids' likes and dislikes, right? If they don't like it on a non-emergency weekly situation after school, they're certainly not going to like it in a disaster, when maybe you're eating it cold out of a can. We'll be talking more future probably on preparing food, making stoves, your alternate heat and cooking sources. But you need to be thinking about that when you're buying your food storage.
I think a lot of times people, they go to the grocery store and they see, oh, hey, I don't really like this, but it'll be good in an emergency. But it's on sale, so I'll get a bunch of it. So what happens to that food? They get it home, they think it'll be good for an emergency, they put it on the shelf, they never use it. It gets to the back of the shelf, they never use it. Maybe you've got that Boy Scout food drive that comes along and they're like, let's just get rid of it there. It's again, a waste of money.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're only getting those things that you really do like.
Store what you eat what you store. And speaking of money, how can we do this cheaply?
You know, my wife does this very well. Every time she goes to the store, and it's usually once a week, sometimes more, I'd say 5 times a month, she spends an extra $5, no more than 10, every time purchasing something that we eat that we end up having storage in. So these stacks grow by $5 to $10 a week. And it doesn't kill us on a budget. It's really simple. When she's done with her grocery shopping list, or let's say there's something on her list, such as canned soup, she won't buy what we actually need, she'll buy extra. And $5 to $10 a week. And you can do this really cheap. You can keep this simple by eating what you store and storing what you eat and spending $5 to $10 a week.
And I think if you're doing it that way, it doesn't seem like a burden. It's like, oh, I need to go buy food storage. No, you're just buying what you're eating every day and just get a few extra cans, a half a case, the case lot sale or whatever. It's not a burden.
You're going to the grocery store anyway.
Yeah.
And keep it simple. If you're buying 1 can, buy 2. Just
Okay.
buy a second can.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for joining us. If you've got questions, you can put those in the comments at our YouTube channel, Be Ready Utah, at Be Ready Utah on Facebook, our hashtag BRUPrepcast. We'd love to hear your questions. And again, you can see all of these episodes at those locations at our YouTube channel and Facebook. And, our websites. These also will be on BeReadyUtah.gov. And there's some great websites that are going to pop up on the screen or have already where you can get more information, Provident Living, USU Extension, BePrepared.com.
And many more.
And many more. Right, exactly. So check us out. Give us your comments. Thanks for watching.
Hey, hope you're liking our Be Ready Utah Prepcasts. Have a question about anything emergency preparedness? Contact us on Twitter or Facebook at Be Ready Utah with hashtag BRUPrepcast or in the comments on YouTube. We'd love to answer it on the next episode of the Be Ready Utah Prepcast. Please share these videos and your own adventures in preparedness with your friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers. Remember, anytime is a good time to talk about emergency preparedness.